Hey y'all, it's Spacehead Dipper here, dipping some Grizzly White Cut Wintergreen. I actually bought a roll of this, so I won't be running out anytime soon. But the reason I'm making this video is because I want to show you my top 5 favorite knives that I own, and tell you why I like them and whatnot. But before I do, I want to wish everybody a happy 4th of July. Hope they have fun. Let's honor the troops because they're doing their best to keep us safe and whatnot. And I hope they come home safe. Now, with all that aside, I don't know if y'all been watching the news, but here in St. James Parish on the other side of the river, they had a little 12-year-old girl go missing. And they really have no leads right now. The only thing they really have is the stepfather. And they got him on charges of obstruction of justice. So yeah, and false child reports or something like that. But I'm gonna leave that to all the media and whatnot, the news stations, lsb.org, NOLA.com, and all that. Where I live, we have a lot of like cable companies, or not cable companies, but news companies, and St. James Parish Police Department. And even the FBI got in on it, so I was actually pretty surprised when the FBI actually came out here and is helping the local sheriff department help find this little girl, because I hope she's still alive. I really do, because no child should have to go through that, being kidnapped and whatnot. If she is deceased, no child should have to go through the pain and suffering that she went through. So yeah. So start off with my knives. First one is this little charade. It's the SCPRIM5G. It's the Team Primos edition knife, or Primos. I don't know how to pronounce it, but this works really good. It also came with a little flashlight, so it came like a little set. So you have the little flashlight, and I tell you, this little flashlight is freaking bright. For a little bitty flashlight, it's got a very good distance on it, about 5 to 10 feet at the most, and that's pretty far for a flashlight with one LED. Now, the second knife I like is this tac-force, and the reason I like it is because it's so tiny, and it's easy to conceal. I can put this on my belt, like this, put it on my belt, drape my shirt over it, and nobody even knows that I have a knife on me. So that's what I like about that knife. Now this little knife, which is the Buckshot US Spirit knife, the reason I like it is because I can put this in my boot and not have any problems. I actually wore this as a boot knife, and it works really well for the most part. Now it's not the most expensive knife, but for a little collection, it's actually pretty good. And then moving on, I have my USMC K-bar made in Olin, New York, and I tell you, this is a sick looking knife. This knife has a lot of history. It was issued in 1942. I believe it was the beginning of World War II. I could be wrong, but I think it was the beginning of World War II. And the whole history with the Marines is just incredible. I mean, they're always the first ones to go in, even though Rangers lead the way. But for most missions and wars, the Marines are always there, no matter what. Now, I'm not trying to make any of you Army guys mad, because I love the Army myself. Air Force, Navy, SEALs, Marine Force, Recon, and all that. But when I seen this knife on eBay for $50-something, buy it now, free shipping, I was like, man, I gotta have it. So I got a pretty good deal on this. It basically is brand new, but if you look right here, that's usage. That is pure usage from me. And one thing I noticed about this knife is a lot of people think it's a survival knife. No, it's a fighting/utility knife. So it's not made for bushcraft. And from what I've seen of the boxes from K-Bar, it says not to be used for bushcraft, so yeah. And the construction of this knife is really, really good, or very well built. I mean, You have a stitched leather sheath with reinforcement rivets, thick leather, a very good retention strap with a good snap on it, or a good clasp, whatever you want to call it, or button snap. There we go. It has a really good button snap. It's very rigid and whatnot. And the blade is a decent sized blade. I mean, if this thing goes into somebody, they're going to be hurting. Now, I've seen a lot of controversies on this knife, or what have you, about this little guy right here. Most people say it's a blood groove. Other people say it's a fuller strength in the blade, which actually the fuller is the correct terminology for this, because this has nothing to do with any type of blood. It doesn't matter if it's animal's blood or anything. This is simply to make the blade lighter and stronger. So yeah, I forgot I snapped a retaining strap. And this has a very good snap on it. I mean, the button on it is really strong. When I say really strong, I mean really strong. What I like about what K-Bar does is they use stacked leather washers, or you can get the synthetic handle. The only reason I got the stacked leather washers is because it reminds me of the traditional World War II K-Bars, which at the time they were not called K-Bars, they were actually called Mark 1s. So yeah, moving on to the last knife that I have. It's this little Winchester Bowie, and I tell you, this thing is pretty impressive for 20 bucks. Now you're saying 20 bucks? That means it's cheaply made. However, that is true. But me and my stepdad went out back in the woods to pick up some logs for tomorrow, because I'm going to have like a little fire. And he was sitting there chopping with that thing, and that thing worked really well. The only issue I had with it was the guard was coming loose, but just a few taps on the cross guard right here pretty much just stiffened it back up. So this is a pretty good knife for the price, and I actually have a review on this. So yeah. One thing I did notice about the Buckshot US Spirit knife is that it looks so much like a miniature K-Bar. This is like one of the little novelty knives, or a K-Bar ripoff. And I wouldn't really call it a ripoff, but more or less a replica. I mean, if you look at this, the only thing that's really different is the handle is on this one. It's a little bit more round, as this one is an oval shape. But the pommels, I don't know if you can see that, they almost look identical, but this one isn't a full tang, or at least I don't think it is, being of how cheap it was. I think it was like $6. But yeah, K-Bars are freaking awesome, guys. If you ever get the chance, pick you up one. And don't be a dumbass and try and chop and baton with it, because that's what it's not made. It's not made for that. It's made for strictly for utility and fighting. So yeah, guys, like I said, have a happy 4th of July. Stay safe, honor our troops and whatnot, and just have a fun time. I mean, I see a lot of people who get in fights on 4th of July because they're overly drinking and whatnot. You don't have to drink to have fun. I don't care what anybody says. You don't have to drink to have fun. So yeah, guys, this is Base Head Dipper signing out.